Yo,
What up? What up?
what is poppin'? What's going on, man?
Episode 158.
Ooh, 158, man.
Dude, is
Let's go.
that's officially more than 3 years worth of content,
Yeah, man. Who'd have thought, bro?
right?
That's what's up.
Was it 156 was like, I guess, with 3 years worth of content?
Yeah, exactly.
So
like
we figured out that we skipped about 12 weeks.
if that in
in the
3
3
years,
years.
yeah, about that. Yeah,
Not bad, man. Vacations and fucking hurricanes and shit, man. So
yeah, man. Podcasts never sleep. Let's go. No days off. No. Get into
right.
that whole hype culture now. Whatever
Absolutely.
that hustle culture shit.
welcome back, everybody, to the Carpet Footman Podcast, episode 158. He is Juan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit him with the drink of the day.
Woof, man. We went back to back on the bourbon and another delicious banger, man. This one's good. Got a cherry bourbon smash. And no, that is not the video. Your eyes don't deceive you. That is a barrel of Buffalo Trace.
We bought the whole barrel.
Yeah, we needed to get, Sean had a whole hand truck to bring this bottle.
I felt like a wino bringing that shit in here.
That shit is huge. It's what, a liter and a half of,
I guess, man. Yeah, it's probably a double, right?
damn, it's a big ass bottle of Buffalo Trace. But so this week, man, we got cherry bourbon smash, which is you're gonna take 4 cherries and about 6 mint leaves, muddle that in a shaker, add ice, and then add half an ounce of lemon juice and simple syrup. You can also replace the simple syrup for the syrup inside your cherries, your Bada Bing cherries. Which I guess I should clarify that we did Bada Bing cherries and not regular cherries.
because cherries are out of season right now, I guess.
So because cherries are out of season, buy the jar of Bada Bing cherries. The Bada Bing cherries will come with a syrup. You can use that syrup or the simple syrup, depending on if you want it sweeter, you use the simple syrup, or you can use the Bada Bing. We found that the Bada Bing brings out like the bourbon.
Yeah, it's
like
a little bolder. Yep.
Yeah. So a shot of the bourbon, so 1.5, half an ounce of the lemon juice, half an ounce of the simple syrup or the Bada Bing syrup. Shake that up real nice, throw it in a glass, and then garnish with the cherry and a mint. Make sure you clap that mint, get it cracked till you get that aroma, and delicious, man. This one's good, man. This is back to back great bourbon drinks. For us, man.
Yeah, man. I was over at I stopped by some family's house last week, and he's like, man, I'm gonna come over in like 2 weeks and get a cigar. And I'm thinking this one and this drink, and then the one that we did last week.
Oh yeah, man! It's cool because you can do
fabulous.
2 bourbon drinks. Yeah,
bro. Especially with the cigar, it's gonna go fantastic.
That's a good idea, actually. A cigar, man, with that, you get that sweet thing
Yep.
on you. Ooh, that's a good idea. I might have to hit that up. That's great, man. Oh man.
All right, man. Yo, I'm gonna hit you up with my carbon footprint of the week.
Let's go.
Is my anti-carbon footprint of the week.
Your
I'm
anti-carbon.
taking one back.
You're taking one back.
I'm taking it back.
Oh wait,
Last week-
has this ever been done in the history of the pod?
Nope.
I don't think we've ever done it. Let's go.
We taking it back. Last week I gave it to the U.S. track team.
Yes.
So I'm not taking it back totally, but Noah Lyles.
Oh.
He won. He did his thing. He won the 200 meter. He was trying to break Usain Bolt's record. He did not. Still smoked the rest of the field.
Yeah. Okay.
But still came in. I want to say, don't quote me on this, like 0.4 of a second behind.
Which is a lot.
Which is right. Which doesn't
It's a
seem
huge
like
gap.
a lot, but when you see that in a race,
Yeah, I was gonna say we see it in person.
yeah,
the gap,
it's nuts.
it's
bro.
huge, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
Oh
would have
my
been like every other Usain Bolt race that you ever seen, where he just pulls away from the field at the end. Where you smoke. It would have been literally like that. So
what? I guess.
So the reason why I'm taking it back though
Okay.
is because he came. And when you give somebody a podium, just like us here,
You give him
you
a mic.
say dumb shit.
You put alcohol in front of him. That's our excuse. I don't know what
That's
his
right. I
is.
don't know what his was. So he came out and he goes, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but he basically made comments about NBA teams
Yeah.
and how they should not be called world champions because they don't play the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, come on, man. You could have picked any other sport. Like, pick baseball.
Yeah.
Like, baseball, you could probably make that about.
Yeah, because the rest of the world is good at
It's
baseball.
good at baseball.
Yeah.
The NBA, like, if you take the Denver Nuggets, they're beating any other team that any other country could put together.
Yeah, dude.
Period.
It's not even close.
It's not even close, bro.
It's not, dude, we have our B squad playing in that FIBA thing, or our C squad playing in the FIBA right now.
I mean, I do know that. I don't want to be facetious, right? Like, I do know the players.
Yeah.
But they're not the superstars.
No, they're not the superstars, right? They're up and coming
yes,
superstars.
Absolutely.
But they're the B squad or C squad. Yeah, you're not getting Steph Curry, you're not getting LeBron, you're not getting Kevin Durant.
Nope.
You're not getting well, Giannis is an international player, but you're not getting any of the studs. And
you're getting like young studs.
Yeah,
like up and comers.
Yeah, like Anthony Edwards is a bona fide superstar in the making. I
Absolutely.
think. Yeah. But he's not there yet. Like you said, and you're getting Luka and company. Whatever Luka plays Slovenia, is it? And
I'm not sure what country
he puts
it is,
up 77 points. I'm sure for his team,
right? Yeah, and everybody else put up 10.
And everybody.
Yeah, so it's just like to make that comment, I could have got behind him if he mentioned like baseball, because baseball is a sport that many other countries are really good at.
Yeah, like the World Baseball Classic has shown,
is
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the U.S. has won it, but so has a lot of the Caribbean countries.
Correct. I mean, didn't this last year who won it? Oh, it was the what was it? Japan? Who does Otani play for?
Ooh, I think you're right. I think it was Japan.
Yeah. Right, it's Japan.
The U.S. has won
Japanese?
back to back. Yeah, Otani's Japanese. So
okay,
yeah.
so it was Japan.
So Japan.
Yeah, so Japan won it. It's just like in a sport like that, I could see. And NBA is the premier league, for basketball in the world. So yes, the winner of the NBA champions, they should be called world champions. It's the
elite league. Yeah. No, I totally get that, bro. It'd even be like different if it was like soccer, where it's an absolute egregious thing to say. And it's funny. I saw some people try to justify. Like some people come to his defense, try to pull up Greg Popovich comments from like 2010. That Greg Popovich was like, anybody who calls themselves a world champion in WNBA, silly. We don't, or in the NBA, sorry, it's silly. We don't play against the world. We play against the NBA. So you're like, oh, look, that's Greg Popovich. I'm like, also Greg Popovich. So I'm going. You got to take that with a grain of salt, because Greg Popovich also loads his team with a bunch of international players. So I go, I see what he's doing. Like, that's by design, right? Like, I'm like, you can't. And also, anybody who thinks there's a league. Yeah, I go, anybody who thinks that, okay, the world as a collective can put a competitive team together. There isn't one country that can put a team together.
That's right.
That would beat the elite of the elite in the U.S. in basketball when they're trying. like, there's just no way. Like, you had a couple years ago where they lost. Remember,
who's on that team?
Then we had the Redeem team come back where Kobe was like, nah, we're not fucking losing. And then they went, and I don't think they lost a game. Like, they spanked everybody by like 20-something.
And this team is running through.
Yeah, they're right now. Should, bro.
As they should, right.
It's like, yeah.
Now, they haven't run into like the Luka team yet. And so they're gonna have some competition eventually, but right now they're running through everybody as they normally do. And like you said, it is the B or C squad that it's not.
Dude, there's no Kyrie. There's no LeBron. There's no Steph. There's no Clay. There's no Draymond. There's no again. There's no dominant NBA players right now in the league. There's none. There's no Embiid. There's no it's like, come on, man.
So two comments that I saw about this that made me laugh was Kevin Durant was like, please somebody come help this brother. And then Aaron Gordon goes, shit, I'll beat him in the 200 meter. Which of course he won't, right?
No, of course not. Bro.
But you know what?
But I think it's just a silly of a comment. That's
exactly.
What it is. Yeah.
Now what's funny, man, is that I watched that 200 meter and I'm glad he won and Team USA, all of that. I really thought when I saw his time, I go, yo, it's gonna be. I don't know if he'll ever beat that time. Okay. Maybe he will. I hope he does. However, I really think that the person that's going to beat that, it needs to be a bigger dude, like Usain Bolt. I think the bigger guy has a slight advantage.
Like that stride, you think that
dude,
or just the power?
I think it's right. If you can get the power in the longer stride, that's where because dude, you got to think Usain Bolt was breaking away from Tyson Gay. Who was the other dude? The one that ended up beating him when he retired.
Oh yeah.
Justin Gatlin.
Yeah.
Dude, those two dudes are studs.
They're fast as fuck. Yeah.
Studs, bro, studs. And they didn't get their time in the spotlight because of Usain Bolt. It's like Jordan being in the NBA.
Right. Like they just were in the wrong era.
Yeah, right. These guys are like Karl Malone
Yep.
during the Jordan era, right? Great players, or in this case, runners, but never really got their due because they couldn't beat this guy.
No, it's so true, dude. They couldn't be. Dude, can I be honest with you though? When I saw the headline of the comments,
Yeah.
I went, "Good for him. He got what he wanted."
Oh, the coverage.
We're talking about him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The coverage. Yep.
We're talking about him. He's in the coverage. Nobody, like I go, love him or hate him. He's kind of gonna do the thing where you go, next time he races, are you just tuning in now?
Just because.
Because I have zero interest in track, right? But like,
Right.
because you mentioned it, I'm like, okay, now I got to see if he's gonna win it. But now also because he's talking shit, I go,
Right.
well, now I got to see if this guy's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I don't want to watch him fail, but I go, all right, man, if you're gonna talk this shit, like, then you better be able to back it up.
And not for nothing, man. I think that most people, I shouldn't say most, man, but I'll just speak for myself. If you talk shit in your respective sport or fucking career or whatever, and you can back it up every time, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. This is why we love the Conor McGregor. This is why we
Yep.
love Floyd. This is why we, this is why NFL guy. Dude, I saw a video today of Aaron Rodgers in
Yeah.
a preseason game. A guy hits him late. Did you see this?
No.
And he tells the guy, like, bro, what the 5 steps later you pushed me? And it wasn't a hard hit, but and he
Right.
tells the guy, show some respect. And I don't even know the player's name. But he goes, yo, show some respect. And the guy chirps something, and Aaron goes, I don't even know who you are. Which is the fucking, like, how do you come back from that? But I go, but someone like Aaron Rodgers, you go, yeah, you talk your shit,
that
bro.
shit, yep.
Talk your shit because you're going to back it up. Because the next play, he throws a touchdown. So,
Oh, really?
He throws a beautiful touchdown.
And I feel like he's one of those dudes too. Obviously, generational talent, right? As far as a quarterback is concerned, but he's one of those dudes that can get fired up and then just go on a tear, where he's just not missing.
No, dude, exactly. Like he just goes on and he just, yeah, bro. That guy. And you see with Brady. Remember in the Super Bowl where a honey badger, Tyrann Mathieu, was sucking shit to Brady, and Brady gets in his face, and then the next,
yes. That was with Tampa.
Yes,
Right?
In the Super Bowl,
Super
dude.
Bowl,
And he
Tampa
throws a touchdown against him. I think he throws it to maybe it was Antonio Brown or Grant, but he almost like picks on him,
Yeah.
like just to fuck with him. And I go, the level of elite you have to be to end the Super Bowl.
Honey Badger's fucking. He's an amazing talent.
Probably, yeah. As I say, you're talking one of the best safeties in the NFL, and to go and just go after him and go, all right, and then do it, but then do it in the Super Bowl is like that's a different level of talking shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, so we do, man. We tune in. So I feel like now, because of this, because when I first saw it, I went, "Oh, we're talking about you, man. You good for you. Like you got us. Like you got." Because I go, you can't be that. I mean, maybe there's a part of him that believes that was like, "Oh, I'm racing against the world," but you got to understand that as a league, the NBA is the best of the best. No one's
That's what I'm saying. He could have picked another. Just pick a different sport. Not that one.
Dude, it's like in soccer where you go, the elite of the elite in soccer, yes, they want to go English Premier, maybe Spanish, now obviously Middle East, but you go, there's multiple leagues around the world in soccer, or you can't say this country is the dominant one.
Right.
There's no debate in basketball, bro. Like, there's zero. It's like, it's the NBA, and that's it, bro. Like, that is the goal. Anything else is considered minor leagues.
Yeah, and it's the reason why the best in the world come here to play.
Absolutely, bro. And to your point, like baseball, like I saw this week the Little League World Series is on, and that's cool because you get all, you had teams from like Curacao and Asia.
Did you
and all
see
stuff.
the last? Did you see the end?
I actually did watch on Saturday a little bit of it. The Texas versus the team from Asia Pacific, I think it was.
I thought it was wasn't the final. I could be wrong. Wasn't the final the team from California versus Curacao?
Curacao, yeah, that was
that was the
Sunday.
end,
so
right?
I watched the third place game, so the one right before that,
Okay.
and then I watched the day before where they played to see who would get into the championship.
Okay.
So I saw Texas, beat. I think Texas beat the Asia Pacific team, but then they lost to somebody. I don't know, something. But anyway, that also made me go like, yeah, baseball is such an international sport. Like the team from Curacao is good. The team from Asia is good. And I think the Asian team wasn't even Japan. It was like, was it the Philippines or something?
Oh, really?
I don't.
Yeah, no, I didn't see
I'm
it.
going to get that wrong. But it wasn't like Japan. It was Taiwan. Sorry, that's where it was. It was a team from Taiwan.
That's not even a country.
Taipei. Yeah. Are we allowed to say that? Sorry, China. What do you want us to call them? That's how you know the checks are rolling in from WeChat. We like Taiwan. We don't recognize Taiwan.
They made all my toys growing up.
What's a Taiwan?
If that ain't a country, I don't know. That shit said made in Taiwan and everything I had as a kid.
Yo, that's accurate as fuck. I do remember every single Transformer.
Everything fucking had that, man.
Every
Made in
Transformer
Taiwan. I was
had
like,
was
man,
in
them Taiwanese be getting it.
Yo,
Fucking talented people over there, man.
they be getting it. So true, though.
But dude, so
man.
I watched the final,
Okay.
and so that Curacao team, they were down by 1 in like, I think the games only go what, 5 or 6 innings,
I think
something
it's
like
6.
that.
Yeah.
And this kid comes up and crushes one to tie it, and then one of the kids from California crushes one to walk off.
Dude,
that's the way it ends.
You meant you walk-off home run in the Little League World Series.
So that if you're this whatever, how old are those kids?
bro.
Like between 12 and 14, around there, right?
Yeah, maybe younger. It's
Yeah.
like 12.
Okay.
Like 12. Yeah. I was on the lower end. But yeah.
But that was amazing because I saw, you know, when the kid from Curacao cracked the home run to tie the game. Obviously the kids are ecstatic, but even the coach is fired up, man. You can see he's just, and then the next inning gets crushed because the kid from California crushes one to end the game.
That's such a, and for those kids, man, that's something they'll remember forever. Like that trip to take. But you might be right. It might be 13, 14. I'm trying to think about when I played in those tournaments, and I was probably already 14, 15. But obviously there's like levels to it. I'm just trying to think of what this specific, the one that gets televised, you might be right. It might be 12 to 14 because there's different levels of this shit that make it there. But yeah, I think this is what they call their majors version. Like it goes in age groups.
Yep.
Because then after this, they go to high school or they go to AAU ball or whatever. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right, man. What you got for your carbon footprint?
Yo,
this
man,
week?
my carbon footprint this week, man, it had to be Donald Trump, but not for anything politically, but just the sheer. It's Donald Trump and also everyone who got indicted with him.
What is that
I'm trying to
noise?
figure that out. Like, what's hitting? Something keeps hitting.
What are you
against-
shaking over there, bro?
I'm like, you know me, it's this. Wait. Yeah, it's my mic. Okay, I figured it out. Sorry. But
sorry, man. Donald
that's
Trump.
wild. No, but it was bothering me before. But
Yeah,
now that I know
quit
it's
touching
that,
it.
stay still. Okay, so Donald Trump, and then that whole indictment of the whole team. I mean, Donald Trump to me gets it because of just like we've never had a U.S. president get charged either active or not, like
Right.
like
Active or
afterward.
not.
Like I know
Yeah.
people are gonna go George Bush had a DUI and all this other shit. No, this is different, man.
No,
like,
yeah.
Get a sitting president or after the fact to get. I'm shocked that we would even do this.
Does he have something like 91 indictments or some shit
insane.
like that?
Yeah,
bro?
because you get one for every. I mean, it sounds crazier than what it is. Is what it's. You know, it's one of those things. But like,
still, man, that's.
but
fucking
yeah.
insane.
So it's like this is historic. I don't know. Here's the thing: is like I don't know which way it goes, but it's like either way, I think it sways an election because if he beats the charges, you just sort of martyred this guy who people already look at him as a martyr.
Absolutely.
And you just solidified, and we've talked about this on here before, where if you're wrong about these charges against him and he beats them, you just fucking feed the
machine.
the machine,
Yeah, bro,
and
yeah.
it just takes off, and he just runs with it. And then if
Dude, I think he wins by landslide if he
if
beats
he
charges.
beats the charge, absolutely,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah. I don't even think you should hold an election. It's gonna be bad. Yeah, I think you're right.
If you're him, like I know he skipped out on last week's debate.
Yeah.
which was good.
Yeah, I disagreed with it as a viewer, but I understand
I
that as
wanted
someone
to
trying
see
to
him.
win. Yeah.
Yeah, I want
to see him and Ron go at it.
Dude, Ron, he kind of sucked, bro. I didn't think that he didn't make himself stand out.
So I guess I want more of. I can't wait for Donald. Like the insults to Ron are going to be hilarious. Like they're going to be funny. So I'm like waiting for that. But yeah, this is historical. Like no matter how you look at it, dude, to live in a time where a former president, sitting president, whatever, like has been charged, has a mugshot out, and by the way, the mugshot is hard, bro. I thought it was gonna be some sad looking shit, something. I was like, my man looked hard, like he looked like he was ready to do time. I was like, get him, Donald, yo.
They said the black and brown people now respect them more because
As
they
fuck,
got
bro.
jail
Yo,
time.
I was like, yo, put that shit on a shirt. I was like, I'll wear that shit, bro.
They did,
and
bro.
he's selling it, right, to raise money.
I believe so. So
Genius,
dude,
bro.
they made since the mugshot, he's made $9.4 million and more than $20 million just in August.
Dude, the mugshot is the hardest mugshot I've ever seen in my life. I was like, how does man look more gangster? And then I go, yo, I think was it you that I was like, yo, this shit looked like a mixtape cover.
Nope, that wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
Nope.
Somebody. I was like, yo, the DJ Clue presents Election Fraud 7. I was like, yo, you remember we used to buy the bootleg, like, or we used to go get the mixtapes at the fucking Magic Mall here? I was like, that shit look like a mixtape cover, yo. That fucking Donald, bro. That shit goes hard, bro.
Yeah, man, dude.
You have not Googled the mugshot because
and if you're interested in the T-shirt, they're out there. And they had some bootleg ones. I say bootleg because it was like the wrong mugshot.
Bootleg ones.
Yep. It was like the wrong mugshot. It wasn't even the right one. Somebody just fucking has him looking like, I don't know, has just a face.
Imagine it's a different mugshot.
And it was like, imagine that. But it was like, like free Trump, but then they got the actual ones out there. Where he's like mean mugging.
Dude, he's mean mugging the shit out of the thing. I'm like, yo, my man came in there, he was upset. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna get, and then I love the little slogan on all the shit is like I will not quit or something like that.
Oh,
something crazy, bro. But I'm like, dude, this is what a fascinating. Listen, I know I personally, and I think a lot of us have loved how quiet, as much as we could say the current administration has been asleep. I think we love how quiet and how peaceful I think we are towards each other. Like we're not all bickering about politics as much as we were.
Right.
But what a time, dude. Like, just to look back on this, you think about 30 years from now, you would tell your grandkids, like, when they're reading about this in history books, about a president being indicted, about Donald Trump, like a real estate guy coming in out of nowhere and winning an election, and like, just no matter what you thought about him, and I was certainly critical of him, like, it's like, this is a fascinating time to be alive, a fascinating time for politics. And it's historic, man. No matter which way it goes.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my sons this past weekend about Trump and just going, man. When I grew up, like this dude was just like a kind of a hotel casino like tycoon, and he would be like in the media because of his hotels and his casinos, and because of the women he would hang out with and the celebrities he would hang out with, right? So like, and I go, and then the rappers would use him in their songs, almost like a
dude, he was
rich like Trump type shit, right?
Yep.
Like,
he was beloved by like the rap community, like people that he was. I should say he was something that people aspired to in that rap community,
at least from a financial standpoint.
Dude, the only thing I could compare it to would be like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos becoming president in a few years and then being, splitting. Obviously, you go 50-50 and people hate you. Right? Because growing up, especially I think you and I, like growing up in the Northeast.
You'd be like, who, the Amazon guy?
Yeah, exactly. We're growing up in the Northeast, Trump was like, you said, he was like I don't say he was beloved, but he was just such an iconic figure.
Iconic,
yeah, he was iconic. Where, like you said,
everyone knew who he was.
Exactly, and they say he would show up with whatever blonde chick he had this week, and it was like, oh, this is the Trump guy, and he had the gaudy, lavish hotels, and and so you went. He was a symbol of sort of made it or wealth or like you said, like rappers use them and all that. So
yeah, symbol of success.
It was, and for a long time, people hung out with him, did whatever, and then. Obviously, you see what politics does to people. It automatically splits you down the middle, where 50-50, like you hate you, no matter what they thought about you before.
Yep.
So yeah. What a time, man! It's just fascinating. I was like, we have to just look at this and go, man, what does this do? Either way, it sways an election. Either Biden gets reelected because he gets convicted.
There's no
or
fucking way.
Trump wins by a landslide, to your point, because he beats these charges. And if the trial hasn't happened by the time the election comes around, is he still allowed to run? Like, I don't know that.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Dude, and if he wins, but then he gets convicted, what happens? What? Like everything about this shit is fascinating, bro. Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
Well, he could be worse, man. He could be fucking Mitch McConnell. And I know that we talked about him a couple of weeks ago, but damn, did you see? The latest video, man. So like
he did it again, right?
He did it again. So like this guy, he's
I'm gonna need the same enthusiasm you had a couple weeks ago. You was upset.
No, man, I ain't getting mad again. Goddamn it. I was out of character.
Might have been the greatest pod we've ever had, yo. This shit was so fun.
But dude, I just looked at him, and so before my father passed. I remember like moments like that. So for those of you who have not seen it, he's being asked a question, and nothing crazy. I want to say it was a question about someone else that was like running for governor. I didn't get the name. It doesn't really fucking matter. But he just goes blank, and it's almost like he didn't hear anything. Maybe he's waiting for something to happen. It's really strange. And I didn't even feel that bad for him per se, dude. His fucking handlers or his babysitters or whatever the fuck you call them.
His baby.
I was like, yeah, I felt bad for them.
I think the word you're looking for is hospice care team.
Yo, you want to go in there and go, Mitch, it's okay, you could go. We got it from here.
Dude, I literally just saw this. I think before we met up today, I just saw like a few minutes before.
Yeah.
And because I always kind of like look through Twitter or X, whatever, for like trending stories, and this was like the number one thing. It was like Mitch does it again.
Dude, I felt like it's just like if any of you have like older people in your family who are, you know, maybe having signs of like dementia or Alzheimer's and like that, it's very much that. I don't know, how old is he? What did we say? Is he 90? Because he fucking, man, he's probably not. But
let me see.
But he's definitely in that stage where like something is happening. It's dementia. It's Alzheimer's. Maybe it's some of both. But
81. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
He looks like he's fucking 91.
I mean, dude, but not for nothing. I mean, we talk about Dianne Feinstein, who is still a senator in California, who I think had to have like a fucking power of attorney.
Oh, yeah.
She's 90, bro.
Yeah, no.
She was born in 1933.
Bro, let me tell you something. If you can't get hired at Walmart as a greeter, you should not be able to be a government official.
That's so much better than what I thought. Because I went, yo, if you were born, like in my mind, I was thinking, if you were born before black people and white people were allowed to hang out, you shouldn't be allowed to be senator. But yours is even better.
Dude, like how do we allow this, bro? I don't even get it.
Nobody wants the job, bro.
Dude, there has to be a fucking.
Young people are too smart for this.
Nah, bro. Nah, I don't. Dude, the fucking puppets.
Dude, anyway. Bernie Sanders is still 81, right? And there's still talk that he would have run for president, right? Like Mitt Romney, 76, right? And he's still a senator. Dude, Joe Manchin, who's like really high up, right? And he's 76.
Wow.
But
those guys, like I could say like a Manchin, I could say Mitt Romney, like these dudes are kind of like a younger 76. I don't even know if that's a thing, but you know, between 70 and 80, that's a normal human age to die.
Yeah. I mean, the average life expectancy, I think, here is only like 70 to 75.
It's like 75,
right?
75-ish.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
So, yeah, you should not be.
Dude,
again,
I've never heard of this guy, but his name is Charles E. Grassley, and he's a senator. He's 89 years old, bro. Let me see what he's the fucking senator. I mean, he looks dead. He is.
Maybe they don't put this guy up in front of a mic too much. We don't know who he is.
Representative District Attorney.
What state?
Iowa.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
They wouldn't even notice. But shit, dude. Like,
isn't Iowa everything starts? Iowa, like all of like the Iowa caucus, right?
You're
Isn't
right. Like, yeah, it's like really important for whatever reason in the political world to win Iowa.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, fucking Mitch, bro. Did it again. Dude, so at this point, like, I guess we've sort of answered our question. Like, when do you put in, like, when do you remove him? Because you go, yo, he's physically unable to perform his duties I mean, not that he does them anyway.
Yeah, but then who decides that? Right? If you're the guy in your state and you've been elected, it just baffles me that people keep electing him.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at the list of senators by age here. Dude, there's a guy named Ben Cardin at 79. There is a guy that's 39. I've never heard of him, J.D. Vance. But dude, there's a lot of 70, like late 70s.
70 plus?
Dude, Richard Blumenthal, 77. There's a guy named John Ossoff who's 36. I don't know where he's from, but The vast majority of these guys are over 70.
Dude, there's got to be a rule. Like if no other company would hire you to do like menial shit,
I think that's a fair.
you should not be able to
If
be
I
a
wouldn't,
government
I
official.
think my shit is always like, if I wouldn't let you operate the stove in my house, you shouldn't be allowed to be a senator or a governor or anything else in that's government related.
Fuck, man.
Oh man.
All right, bro. So let's switch gears on this fucking
Yeah.
government shit, bro. I know I've been behind on my book reading.
Yeah,
we
I fell behind the last couple months. I started off strong, but I did fall behind.
You
I started off real strong, man.
I finished the Will book.
Ooh, okay.
Dude, really good, man. I know you haven't read it. I'm not gonna spoil
I gotta
it for
finish it. I
people.
started it and I haven't finished.
Right. But really good. If you guys haven't read the book that Will Smith wrote with Mark Manson, Mark Manson, in my opinion, is a phenomenal author. But and the reason why I think he's a phenomenal author is because when the way that he writes is it's like he's sitting there with you, just talking to you, telling you stories. And so the book reads like that, but it sounds like Will.
But it also, he writes like you're one of your friends telling you a story. Like us
That's what
talking
I'm saying.
shit.
Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
sitting on the couch, just talking to you about stuff.
And somehow he managed to capture Will, like
Yes.
you know it's Will, but in that style of Mark Manson where Will becomes almost more relatable because it's like your friend talking to you.
Yes, bro.
Yeah,
Yes.
man.
So
Wow.
it feels just like that. And
I can certainly see that. Like I said, I've only read the first few chapters.
Yep.
You know, maybe a quarter of the book, maybe, and I definitely feel that. Like I'm like, oh, I feel like I know Will, and I feel like I'm talking to a friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that this is so. One of the things that I loved about the book was that you see Will goes through a lot of the same shit that all of us go through, like the self-doubt or the lack of confidence, right? So you see, you know, I've grown up, you know, knowing, Will the rapper, Will the TV sitcom guy, Will the actor, and then like the like worldwide actor, right? Like this dude became like at the top of his game.
Oh my God, as big of a star as our
as
generation
anybody.
has ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And that was one of his goals when he started doing the movies. He has a friend of his, and there was a few guys, which is really cool. There's a few guys that he grew up with that he kind of took along for the ride, but they were workers. Like one of them was like a bodyguard, one of them is like his manager, right? But these guys like grinded and they worked and they were like by his side the entire time. And when Will basically was like, yo, because like his manager at one point goes, yo, what are we doing? Then he's getting into movies. And then he's like, you know, what's the goal? And then Will goes, I want to be the biggest movie star ever. And he goes, okay, like I can work with that.
Dude,
So
and
I
you could
have
say,
to-
and you could say that he accomplished that.
oh yeah,
There's a point in time where, you know, we've talked about it here before, whether it was Men in Black or Independence Day or whatever. He hit it.
Yeah.
And even I would argue by the time I Am Legend came out, it was like, by that point, it was so rare that you got a Will Smith movie, a blockbuster, that when I Am Legend came out, you were just like, must watch, got to go to theater.
Yep.
He's a bona fide all-time superstar, bro.
Yeah. One of the things that he did, man, that I thought was really cool, was that he got to spend. So his dad was having some health issues, and he got to spend like the last, like say, like few months or so with his dad, and knowing that the time was finite.
Okay. So I knew he was
It was literally like, hey, got this issue. I have X amount of time to live, and which was say like 6 weeks.
Okay.
So he got to actually spend like a bunch of time with his dad, which is a lot of us don't get that, right? You don't ever know typically when the end is, and then so and you end up it's like too late and you can't. I think the Rock had something this week that where he was talking about that with his dad. Oh, about his dad.
About his dad, yeah.
Right, where they had before his father passed, that they had an argument, and then he was just like, man, I gotta call him. He didn't call him, and he fucking died. And so he, you know, it's one of those moments. And again, Will in the book got to spend the time, and so he didn't have those regrets. So like again, it was just really cool, man. If you were a kid that grew up in like the 80s or the 90s, this and especially if you grew up like in sort of urban areas, and you knew Will as like the as we used to call him, the popcorn rapper, but whatever, right? Like, we did, but we used to call him the popcorn rapper. But the guy sold a lot of records, had the hit sitcom show, had hit movies, but just the stories that he tells and the things that he goes through, it's so relatable. It's things that we all go through. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely go check it out. The book is actually called Will.
I think the going back to what you were saying about like relatable, I think the thing with something like that is like, as I should say, just as individuals, we go through shit, as men, we go through shit where we think, whether it's a self-esteem thing or a lack of confidence, or you got that imposter syndrome or whatever it is, but to see someone at Will's level go through that, I think it almost makes you feel like, okay, this is sort of normal.
And he had all of that.
The imposter syndrome. Everything. And you go,
bro.
and when it's funny, man, the things, like I said, I haven't gotten through it, but the times that he's mentioning, you're going, man, we from the outside looking in, were looking at a star.
Right.
And he didn't feel that way.
Yep.
Like it's just...
And then he even talks about times where he would, the one story that comes to mind was when they pitched the show, the
Fresh Prince?
The Fresh Prince show.
Okay.
Which I won't go into the story, but essentially he has this moment where he's scared as shit. He's got the imposter syndrome. And then he has somebody there that goes, yo, man, everybody that we need is in this house right now. We got to make this shit happen now. And he seizes the moment. And they create the show, and the show is a fucking, massive success.
Oh, my God, yeah.
But it's just like, one of those things where you just go like, fuck, man. Like most of us would have been like, whoa, wait a minute, I need time to prepare, which he did. And then the guy convinced him of just like, nah. But even it's stuff with relationships and, you can put I think we've all gone through some of the stuff that he's gone through.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see like how he handled it, and maybe like in retrospect of how maybe he felt like he should have handled it.
Dude, I found the first like couple of chapters that I read like painfully relatable, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah. Like I'm reading it and I'm going like, wow, man. Like, and it was like that part of like, okay, young Will was going through this stuff, but then you're sort of understanding who he becomes, and it makes a lot of things
and why
make sense,
he becomes
and why he becomes that, man. And it's so funny, man. Some of the things like a therapist will probably tell me, like, I like to make people laugh because maybe my way of diffusing situations when I was younger, I was smaller when I was younger, maybe being bullied or beat up or whatever, or in situations that sort of fit in or kill any uncomfortableness in a room, was to make people laugh. And he had a lot of that same. And it's funny, man, because I always think back to like, me, like I always joke, my default emotion to anything uncomfortable is to make a joke about it. And sometimes now I just like making people laugh, but I look at the genesis of sort of how that became. Yep. And if I think back up to when I was a kid, it was like, I wasn't always the biggest kid. I was kind of scrawny. I wasn't like the popular kid. I wasn't the cool kid. I wasn't, I had my fair share of run-ins with like bullies, if you will, and all that stuff. And I would go, I think my sort of like, my niche or my hole that I could find was if I could find a way to make people laugh, like it'll sort of like keep them off me. And then like, and I know Will had a lot of that, and it fucking works, man. Bro. And so like, I'm like, I could see how that turns into who he became. Be just the same way I could see who, like, maybe for me it started that way, but then eventually I just liked the way, I just like doing that, right? Like, I like making people laugh or whatever. And I go, and if I psychoanalyze myself even further, you would probably go, there's a self-validation maybe that I get from being able to make people laugh or being able to make a joke.
It feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny when people go like, I like to make other people like feel good. I go, nah, it makes me feel good that I made you feel good. You know what I'm saying?
No, but dude,
the opposite.
But it's actually so true about even when you talk about like being in service.
Yeah.
Being in service is partially selfish because it actually, for most people, it makes you feel good to help somebody.
No, absolutely.
And to see that whatever you did made their life better.
Yeah.
Or like in your case, where you say like, oh, I like to make people laugh. seeing them laugh, like it makes them feel good, and then that makes you feel
and then that
good.
makes you feel good. Yeah. And as I said, like there's going to be a therapist at some point in time that'll make a lot of money, and I just did your work. But but yeah, I could totally see. Like I said, I read those the first few chapters. I need to go back and finish it, man. And I remember like it was so relatable, and it made a lot of things make sense, and it also makes you feel like, okay, I'm not. I don't want to say, oh, I'm not alone. It sounds cliche, but it's like, I think it just gives you sort of like a peace, or like you almost allow yourself to go through emotions if you see that someone at that level is going through that. And you could feel one of two ways. You could go feel hopeless as fuck because you're like, well, if Will Smith feels like that, then none of us got a shot. You know what I mean? Like, but you can also go, oh, this is just a normal progression as a human being of the emotions that we go through and the self-doubt and the victories, right, and the defeats and whatever. But like somebody like him feels that way too. And so cool, like because someone who we revere or whatever feels like that, it almost makes you feel like, okay, so it is normal. Yeah. And maybe I should just go through my whatever this is. Right. Yeah.
So yeah, check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. Let's switch gears, bro. Hurricane. Today is what's today's date? Today's the 30th?
The 30th. Well, it'll be the 31st in like 30 seconds.
Well, we had a hurricane hit part of the state, so thoughts and prayers out to it's a hurricane Idalia. Thoughts and prayers out to the folks in North Florida that are probably. I think it's through Florida now. It's probably into Georgia.
Yeah, I think it's into Georgia, South Carolina tomorrow.
But I know it was it reached the category 4. And they ended up making landfall as a 3, I believe, which is still I've been through a 3, and those are not fun.
No, man.
That's damage.
What was Charlie?
We had 3. Well, for me, it was a 3. Yeah,
it was a 3. Okay.
But yeah, man, and I know we had some other shit happening in Florida this week. What's up with this Florida lake?
Yo, did you see the well, first off, I want to touch on this hurricane shit.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
because one of the things that I noticed was that, so I'm getting like texts from family and like the paranoia, and they're sending me like fucking screenshots of news articles and that. They're like petrified that this hurricane is. And listen, you should absolutely take a hurricane seriously. It's not what I'm saying, but where we live in Orlando, it was always pretty evident that we weren't going to get shit, right? Like
we're gonna get some bands.
We're gonna get some bands and some normal rain. Like you could almost go about your normal business here.
If you didn't know there was a hurricane, you would just be like, oh, it rained hard today.
It's a thunderstorm today. Yeah. Right. Like it's right. Like it rained hard. And one of the things that I started noticing is that I started watching news coverage. I want to see like, oh, where's this thing going? Obviously, like I'm trying to plan my week. Yeah. And one of the things that really stood out to me, man, was that the legacy media, and the people who need to sell ads. So I'm talking like if you're talking Fox or CBS or ABC or CNN or whatever, like anything like that, the sort of, and even as it related to Orlando, where we knew, was like die, this is gloom and doom, this is, you gotta get this, it's like remind you, like you go to the supermarket and everything's fucking gone and you don't understand why. Like people buy bottles of water and I never understood that. Like I go, okay, if you have a well, I get it, because if your power goes out, your well goes out, you can't pump water. I'm like, makes sense. Everybody else, we don't live in a third world country where the water is suddenly going to stop working. Like it's weird. But anyway.
And I have a well, so I have to. So what we do is we usually buy a couple cases just to drink.
Yes.
But what I ended up doing, because you can't, when you have a well, it runs on electricity, right? So you have electricity, you don't have any water. We fill up our bathtubs and like 5-gallon like jugs of water, not to drink, to flush the toilet.
So that makes sense, but I get that, like why you would, right? Yeah. But like you said, to flush the toilet. Yeah, not to drink, because you go, I'm going to be fine. Like I'm going to go, like I can figure this out. But anyway, like what I started noticing, all these things are doom and gloom. So I found myself going more to like weather.com or like the Weather Channel, and I was looking at both. Yeah. Like I would pull them up on the computer and look at both, and I would go, wow, the discrepancy between these guys, doom and gloom, it's going to hit you, you got to go to and the Weather Channel was like, it's just facts. It's like, here's the path right now, what we think. We don't know, blah, blah. No fluff, no fucking get to the supermarket, no somebody sitting outside and in a puddle, which is hilarious, because I'm watching some of these people and they're like, this street is completely flooded. And I go, if you live in Orlando, that's every week. You could find a street here that is in 2 feet of water every week, from a regular rainstorm, and they're just out there, and it's just like the exaggeration. And I'm like, man, it just reminds me of like everything media wise, where you just go, I get that you need ratings. And because most of us are stupid, we sort of gravitate towards like doom and gloom and end of the world. And then we get sucked in, and then it sort of like feeds our conversation and our hysteria and all that, and it gives us like a purpose for the week or whatever. Like,
right.
But I'm like, I'm looking at one and I'm going, this is vastly different. I'm gonna assume that the Weather Channel isn't lying to me, and that Weather Radars and Weather.com isn't lying to me. And I'm looking at them going, that shit's not saying what you guys are saying. You guys aren't. And I know there's different meteorologists and all that shit.
Were they saying that it was gonna turn in, or what were they saying?
just like. It was funny. It would show the same graph, right? But like the band would be wider, and it would put like Orlando, let's say, like in the, you might get the outer bands of it, right? And then it would be like, prepare yourselves. Like, make sure you have this. And I go, there's a way to say that of like, hey, better safe than sorry kind of thing.
Right.
But then there's also a way that it's sort of presented where I think you create hysteria. Which is like, if I'm looking at the text I'm even getting from like some family where they're just like freaking out. And it's so funny. Then some of them are like, we've been through this. We look at the thing and we're just like, yeah, man, like this isn't, again, it's not that it isn't anything, but for here, based on if you live here, you're just so used to these, you're going, oh, this one's fine. I really feel for the people in the panhandle or the people where it was hitting. You go like, those people should brace. You should be throwing resources that way. Those people should be the ones where you're stocking up on supplies and all that stuff. It's like,
you should be taking shit from here and sending
it there. Exactly. And I go, man, they create this hysteria. And I'm just like, I just couldn't, man. And I think on my phone I have them. Dude, I have so many screenshots of news things from the exact same time frame. And it was so interesting to go like, oh, wow, you guys are selling me on this like must be ready, evacuate or, whatever. Now, and then these guys are like, oh, it's going this way. You guys will expect. Dude, at one point, and I saved the word because I never heard of this. Like the weather.com or Weather Channel had it as, it was like tropical storm watch. It wasn't even warning. And there's levels. It was like watch for Orlando throughout the whole thing. And it was just like, and I'm like,
I think ours, because I'm in Kissimmee, and so we're south of Orlando. It was even less for us, bro.
Yes, right. And it was, if you're further west, it had, it went up. It was like, warning, and then it was like, but man, it was just funny to me, like watching this news coverage this week. I'm like, oh my God, man, like I can see why. And we do this with everything. We do this with politics. We do this with, like just regular crime. We do this where people are like, if you watch the news, it doesn't give you information, man. It just
keeps you in fear.
It just keeps you in fear, and I guess that's by design, man.
Yeah, it absolutely is, man. Like you said, you're gonna if you're scared, you're gonna watch.
It's also why legacy media is dead, man. Like I go, the more and more. I think for the first time ever, I don't know if you've seen this. Less than 50% of people in the last month, or I think quarter, it was watched traditional TV, like over-the-air TV.
Oh, really?
So it's always been over 50% of viewership has been on TV. This is the first time in history it's dipped under 50%, which I think was in this last like month.
So it's streaming, I'm assuming, is
so it's like streaming. There's something else. There's streaming. There's a couple of other mediums. But yeah, essentially, so streaming is like 30% or whatever it is. Then it's usually 50-60%, over air TV, which shocked me that it was still that much. But yeah, so streaming was still like 30, but then, or something like that, like in the mid 30s, and then traditional TV was like 49% or something like that, which is the first time it's dipped under half.
Oh shit!
So half of the country is getting their shit. So I'm like, this is not good news for legacy media, for traditional TV channels, your local whatever channels. This isn't good because those are mostly on traditional sort of.
Yeah, man, and I would actually feel for people, like we've been here for long enough and been through enough hurricanes that you kind of know what to do.
Yeah.
Like I think that I knew it was coming, and so I think on Monday I went out and filled up my I have like portable gas cans, right? Because I go, you know what? Like I already have water. We usually buy water like in the beginning of hurricane season. We'll just get 2 cases and leave them in the house.
Oh yeah, just as a backup.
So we just leave them, and then I just need gas for my generator. Like that's it. Because if I lose electricity.
Good.
Like I need food. With the generator, I'll be able to keep the fridge running, and I'll run the window AC unit for the time being until the shit cuts back on, and I have food in the house. Like that's it. Like that's the end of it. I'm not boarding up. We bought the hurricane impact windows years ago, so I don't have to board up any windows. So yeah, man, there's not really much preparation that we do.
No, man, it's getting. It's getting out of control, man.
What's up with the Florida Lake shit?
All right, dude. So I
staying with Florida.
This shit was crazy. I'm gonna call this shit Lake Geico. But there's an investigation that's been launched.
Are they following you around?
No.
Like a fucking Geico app
Fucking
follows
Geico
me
app,
everywhere.
dude. Oh man, the Geico app, bro. This shit is a what do you call that?
Shit is intrusive.
It's very intrusive. That's the perfect word.
You
for
touched your phone,
dude. But 30 cars were found submerged in a lake in South Florida. So this investigation that was launched, I forget why. It's like they were looking for something else, and then they found a car, and then the dive team found like 30 more cars submerged in this lake in Florida.
Get the fuck out of here.
And like some of it is, cars that were stolen.
Okay.
A lot of it was cars that were stolen, and they just happened to be dumped in this lake. And there's all these theories behind it, like mafia shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why would you dump them in the lake?
Insurance fraud. That's why I call it Lake Geico, where people were. But it's hilarious how, and they're all from like the 90s. So it's all cars from the 90s, early 90s. And I was like, only in fucking Florida. So now when they were looking for this one thing, now they've essentially been pulling out all the cars, and they're up to like, the last time I checked those 30, it's probably more now. But they're like, yo, the lake is full of cars at the bottom of the lake.
And why that lake? So where is it?
It's in it's in South Florida. It's because it was out
like Miami-ish.
So close to Miami, and so it's very close to Miami. It's in an industrial complex, but back then there wasn't anything there. This lake was back there, and there was nothing else.
So these are older cars.
So these are older cars, yeah, all 90s, all dumb. And I always find shit like this fascinating because it just makes you think like, okay, was this one person stealing cars and then dumping them there for kicks and giggles? Was it one person committing insurance fraud on behalf, like, hey, you paid this guy, $2,000 and he makes your car disappear? Was this, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many routes here, bro. And I was like, I always find this shit fascinating. Like, it's just so interesting to me of like why people would do shit like this. But I'm like, yo, Florida always has the wildest shit. Like, it's so bizarre.
But he had something else about there was another Florida story this week.
Bro, there was the dudes who were scamming Uber Eats. Have you heard this story?
No.
Yeah, there was 2 dudes on Uber Eats, and they were essentially so the 2 guys, they were arrested for scamming the Uber Eats of more than $1 million in deliveries, bro.
How, Sway?
Yo, I'm like, fuck, man. And when I read it, I went, of course. It was such a simple concept. So this dude named Trayon Morgan and Rob Blackwood, so they would open new accounts and they would place orders for pickup. And under a fake alias, they would accept the order as the delivery person. Uber would then do what Uber does for the delivery people, and they would load them. They would give them a virtual credit card preloaded with like $700 so that they could go make the purchase, do the whole thing. I guess that's what you do for these guys. They would then take that preloaded credit card, go to Walgreens and buy a bunch of gift cards. And they were buying gift cards for it. And the reason they got caught was after months of investigating what was going on, these cops saw them on surveillance cameras, and they had hit 27 different Walgreens in one day.
Wow.
Redeeming or buying gift cards with the $700 of the preloaded visas that they were being given, or credit cards that they were being given by Uber Eats. So it essentially like placing an order.
I never thought about that, bro.
Order.
I thought, I always imagined that the Uber Eats would be like when you would order essentially through the app, like you would pay through the app.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
This sounds like it's the driver going to pay and then somehow gets reimbursed, or the car gets, I don't know.
So I think there's a little bit of both, because you're right. Because I have seen Uber Eats drivers just walk into places and then just walk out with a bag.
Yeah.
I didn't see them pay. But
apparently there must be places that...
It must be. But I wonder if this is like Instacart. Because like Instacart, they go shopping for you and then they have to pay for your stuff. So like you tell them what you want.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder if this is something similar. But maybe Uber Eats does something similar in places where they place a preloaded amount on a credit card and go buy it.
Maybe some places you can pay, and in some other places you just can't.
You just can't, because I always thought like, yeah, you paying the restaurant and they just pick it up. But this makes sense because I know Instacart does this, where you buy a bunch of groceries. Hell, Instacart, you can buy shit from Best Buy. Somebody goes and buys it for you, and then they bring it to your house. But they have to pay for it. So I guess what they do is they give them a virtual credit card. They do the NFC tap thing, and then they dip out. But I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, we will scam anything, bro, if you let us, man. I was like, and then I went, fuck, why didn't I think of this?
because your ass would have got caught.
Here
too.
I am working like a sucker.
Uber's out here giving away $700 gift cards.
Dude, I would even do this once a day. These guys got greedy. 27? 27?
That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot,
But
man.
I wonder if you do that because you're greedy, or do you go, yo, this is gonna end at some point. We might as well.
Oh, like they're gonna, because inevitably,
get it while you can.
You know, like you work in tech, like inevitably you're gonna figure out, oh, we got to do this to avoid this.
Right.
Like it's part of the sort of cycle of tech, of life, if you will, of like, oh, we do this to circumvent this.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
and dude, and working in like the food and beverage industry, workers scam the system all the time.
oh my God, imagine when it was like mostly like when I first started at a company you and I both work for, it was like a lot of cash still.
Oh yeah, you could scam easy.
Yeah, because people are still using safes and keeping cash on hand, and like it isn't as like now it's moved more and more.
And most people were paying with cash back then.
Yeah. Because you're talking about tourists or people from
Right.
who are traveling, who tend to take out cash and then use that when they're traveling. So yeah, it's funny, man, how times have changed. And now I'm seeing like even a lot of theme parks are going cashless, are going strictly. And if you have cash, they're having like I think here SeaWorld, if I'm not mistaken, SeaWorld and Aquatica in Orlando are going cashless. And if you have cash, like say you're an international traveler, there's a customer service you can go to. You can give them the cash and
they'll
give
load
you a
the card
preloaded
or
card.
something. Oh shit.
So it's going completely cashless within the theme park. But
Yeah, it makes sense for them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It makes a ton of sense, man.
How we doing on time, bro?
So, dude, we're 56 minutes in, man.
All right, good.
We gotta hit the legend this week, man. The OG Bob Barker, bro.
Oh, that's right.
Bob Barker passed away this week at 99, bro. Yo, close enough to the dollar without going over. What the fucking man, bro. Spin that wheel, Bob. Spin that wheel.
And he was literally like months away from being 100.
It's just like Betty, bro.
No, didn't Betty make 100?
No, Betty made it? I thought Betty died like a month before her 100th
Let me
birthday,
see,
bro.
man.
I thought Betty was just shy, bro.
Let me see.
Because I'm like, yo, fucking Bob, yo. Now he knows what everybody else on his thing feels like. Whenever they spin the wheel, they get stuck on 99 cents.
What the hell? She was born, no, when did she die? So she was born 1922, January 1922. Yeah, and died December 31st, 21.
Dude, a month before her. Yeah, I think she was a month before her 100th
Not
birthday.
even, bro.
Yeah.
Like literally 17 days.
Oh, wow, man. Yeah.
Yeah. She got you beat, Bob.
Damn. Yeah, so she was close, man. But Bob, bro, fucking, yo, I don't know if you had this, but I remember Price is Right was so good and so entertaining.
I love that show.
That I watched that shit even as a kid. And I remember I used to love staying home from school. If I skipped school, it was great because I got to watch The Price is Right. It came on at 11 a.m. I would throw on The Price is Right, bro, and I would sit there and guess with them and play along and do the whole shit. Like, show the washing machine. I'd be like, $1, $2. You should be like 107.
I used to love that, man. People would be like $1 because you got to guess, but you couldn't go over.
You couldn't go over, yep.
And they just thought that everybody else like bid too high.
Yep.
So they would just bid the dollar.
They just bid the dollar, man. And I can't even explain why it is that it was so entertaining and why even as a kid you got sucked in. Like I think about it and I'm like,
true,
I
man.
don't know what it is about it. Like,
and it'd be like they'd be giving away washing machines.
yeah, and I go,
shit.
is it that? I go, is it that it's relatable, that it's daily household shit that you're like, oh, I see that every day. I must know what it costs.
Man? I used to like the part where you didn't know you were gonna make the show, and I feel like I read a story recently, and I can't remember what the hell it was. I wish I could, but like this person used to disappear from where they were supposed to be every day at a certain time because their dream was to make The Price is Right.
Oh, wow.
So they would just go into the live audience
every day.
And, they would be like, Juan, come on down.
And you'd be like, I know, maybe it was
and you
that.
see they fucking be all excited and shit, man.
Bro, I always thought I was going to be on that shit, bro. I love that show, man. Bro. And I didn't watch as much from Drew Carey. And there wasn't a knock on Drew Carey. It just didn't have the same, Also, I was an adult by the time Drew Carey took over. But, like, again, like, even as a kid, I watched his show. Bro, the showcase at the end was always cool to see because people would win, like, you get a car and a trip and a new house and a Winnebago for no reason. Like, it would just be wild, bro. It'd just be giving up. And it'd be like, you bid on the whole showcase and it'll be like $52,001. And you're like, oh, fuck, you're not going to Aspen, bro. You went too high.
And then Bob Barker always had the best looking women on daytime TV. You know, they were like all like Vanna Whites. You know what I mean?
Every single one of them. Yeah. Yeah, presenting the car and doing the whole thing. Yo, and then I'll never forget him being in Happy Gilmore. The movie where he was happy, and then he's like, "The price is wrong, bitch."
Yep. Which became like iconic. Man.
Oh yeah,
that was an iconic fucking
so
statement.
good, man. But yeah, man, Bob passed away this week. What a life, bro. What a life, man.
He was born in 1923.
Damn.
He spent like 50 years in broadcasting. He did like actually quite a few game shows. Truth or Consequences. Some of you guys might remember this. I don't remember many of these. Maybe a couple of these. End of the Rainbow. The Family Game. Simon Says. I do remember that. That's My Line. I remember that. And then The Price is Right.
Dude, I don't know any of those.
The Price is Right. He did it for 35 years, bro.
Wow, man. Price is Right.
35 years. And I feel like he was old in the beginning. Like when I used to watch him as a kid, I feel like he was already old. He had the white hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bob Barker been 99 since I was 10, bro. He did. He was old as fuck from the get.
That's why when they used to do,
right.
bro, when they would do. Remember when he had? I mean, God bless him, man. We can fucking talk shit about him now, right?
Oh yeah.
So he had the scandals with the women, and there was a few women.
Oh, he did.
Out.
Oh, see, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, dude, with all the women on that show, of course.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but I hadn't heard about him.
Yeah, so
he had that look about him every time. You know what I mean? Like Bob had that dog look. Or he would be like, "Open that suitcase, show them what they want." He was a pimp, yo.
Oh, that's so good. But I think one of the women on there, actually, he got accused a few times.
Yeah,
of like, you know, I don't know, like
Me Too,
like shaming them, like,
okay.
You know, like, oh, you can't, you know, you're getting too fat, you can't fucking work here anymore. But
that's constructive criticism, you know, when you're in the modeling game. Like, he's just being a mentor. Like, you want to make it like Vanna never got fat. Yo, Vanna like 70, true, bro. Vanna's still, and she's in a contract dispute right now, which is wild.
Because she wants to get paid more, right? More. It's like, yo, stop it.
Yeah, dude.
You've been on that show for like 40 years.
Yeah, dude. And you look at her and you're like, yo, Vanna's still bad. And
for her age.
Yeah. Like, Vanna's still bad, but also to hold, I think the thing about Vanna too, man, is that to hold that position as a woman in show business at that age, where we tend to like really be like, nah, let's get the 25-year-old in there. Like to do that for Vanna, like, kudos to her, man. Like, I think it's just a testament to like her, you know, her relationships, her work, or, you know, all that stuff. Like, because she's become just as big a part of that show as the, like, I honestly, when I think of Wheel of Fortune, I think of her before I think of the main host.
Is it Pat Sajak?
Yeah, I don't even think of him. I think of Vanna White before I think of Pat Sajak.
And he was the talent, right?
Correct.
The
which I go,
talent.
In that vein, I would go, I think she does deserve as much money as he does. Because if I think Wheel of Fortune and I immediately think Vanna White, who's the star? You know what I'm saying? Like, I go, and like, so to me,
and realistically, bro, all she did was walk back and forth and flip
fucking letters. Listen, I'm not gonna argue that she was poor. Like, she was making $3 million a year. She wants more than $3 million a year. But in her defense, in the grand scheme of showbiz and what he was getting paid and all that, I'm like,
right.
Yeah, I would argue she probably deserves double that. And I think she could make a fair argument depending on whatever their revenue is for ads or whatever. I'm like, yo, man, Vanna White was synonymous with Wheel of Fortune. I didn't think Pat Sajak. Matter of fact,
and
until
you
said it, I didn't think about it. Yeah, he's gone, which I think is why she's fighting now, because she's staying on.
Okay, who took over for him?
I think it's some other.
Doesn't matter.
No, but it's like a famous person. But Vanna White's still there, dude. Yeah, it's so true, man. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, man. So shout out to legends though. Vanna White still alive, and Bob Barker, who Fell short.
Yeah, man, you want to end anything else, man? You want to do anything else?
Bro, I feel like, man, I have so much shit now that I'm thinking about that I'm like, is it?
How are these?
Do I want to get
what's
into
up
it?
with these Arkansas dudes?
Ooh,
Is that a good one to end on?
I think this might be a good one to end it with, bro,
do it.
because I could see us not doing this, but also I believe in their right to do this. So 2 homies from Arkansas, buddies hanging out, much like you and I do on a weekly basis, they decided to throw on some bulletproof vests, and they took turns shooting each other while wearing the bulletproof vests. Bro, if that ain't the most Arkansas shit I've ever heard in my life. Yo, these two dudes.
Isn't that where Bill Clinton's from?
Yo, yep, you right. Bro, so they strapped on bulletproof vests, and they got their guns, and they took turns shooting each other, and then they got arrested for it. Which I'm like, I thought it was kind of weird, because I don't know what the gun laws are in Arkansas, so if you're not allowed to have
Yeah,
it,
right.
but-
And then are you not? I mean, I'm assuming you are on your own property.
Yeah, plus, bro, what's the difference between this and research and development? How do you know they're not just making sure this shit works? Which evidently it does.
It does.
Because these motherfuckers
got arrested.
It's such a man thing to do.
We would do some dumb
We would
shit
do
like
some
that.
dumb shit like that.
Guys do. We do, man.
We do some dumb shit.
shit.
Dude, can you imagine you and I put it on bulletproof vest? And now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I fucking can. We put bulletproof vest and like, go ahead, pop, and I'm like, ooh, that would hurt. My turn. And it was just.
I'd be like, it's only a 22.
So yeah.
You'll
It's only gonna burn for a second.
You'll survive without the vest.
You survive without the vest.
And then you'd be like, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're probably right.
burned a little
Probably right.
bit. Yeah, yeah, dude. That shit had me crying,
50
bro.
Cent got shot 50 times and he's still alive.
And he's 50. Another one who came short of the dollar.
Yo, on that, tell them where they can find us.
At the Carbon Football Podcast on IG, Carbon FP Pod on X, the Carbon Football Podcast on YouTube, and all your favorite TikTok at Carbon Football Podcast on TikTok. Thank you guys for leaving the comments and likes and any kind of reactions on the social media, man. It's been cool. We've been trying to do better about dropping some of these clips, and you guys have been engaging, so we love that. And then all your favorite audio platforms, man. Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Geo7, Ghana for the people. Yo, somehow we still big out in India. So
are we?
Yeah, Geo7 in Ghana. Yeah, that's still one of our top markets right now for some reason, man. So probably because I look like one of y'all, man. So shout out to you guys, man. I love me some naan and some tandoori chicken. So shout out to you. And yeah, man. Thank you guys for the support, man. I love the comments on the videos and on the posts on social. I think it's the easiest way to get a chance to engage and see like who's listening and stuff like that. So I think that's why I like that. It's like, oh, cool. I didn't know. Even if I don't know you, it's just a cool chance to engage and see what people like and don't like or what they think about certain things.
And it's funny when we get together, then we'll go over some of the comments and stuff, and we'll be like, hey man, somebody commented. It must have been your friend or family. So definitely shout out to you guys. Man. We are reading the comments and we do respond. So definitely appreciate you. I'm gonna leave y'all with a quote that I read.
Ooh, hit us.
And especially talking about some stuff, things that we talked about today. One day you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you've always wanted. Do it now.
Let's go.
All right, folks. And on that, we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.